Yo guys, I'm Diamond Ultra and welcome back to another Dying Light video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the Harran prison. I'll be explaining the basic things about it, telling you guys what it is, what can you get from it, like the best loot, what loadout you should be using, and also how you can complete the heist as easily as possible. Now before I get into this video, I'd like to ask guys to please drop me a quick like and to consider subscribing for more useful Dying Light videos. And lastly, a special thank you to all of my members on my channel. But now with all that being said, let's get right into today's video. Now firstly, what is the Harran prison heist? The Harran prison heist is a mission that you can do where you go through the Harran prison, deal with infected and some people to get some really good loot, like probably the best loot in the game. Now how do you get to Harran prison? Well, I believe you first have to go here to this boat and interact with it and you'll be taken to the prison. When you do this, there should be two posters available in Harran. The first one is located in Brecken's Tower right here, and the second one is located in Old Town in this tower right here where you sleep. But anyways, back to the prison, what can you do here? Here in the prison you can actually bring in your own loadout to fight infected and to fight some soldiers. So you got to pick your loadout very wisely. Now as for the loadout you should be using, this is my personal preference. This is what I like to use. This is not for like, the best speedrunners. This is just for people who are like, playing this casually or maybe doing it 1 or 2, maybe 3 times and that's it. Although I guess you could technically use this loadout as many times as you want. This is just what I prefer to use. Now let's start off with what you should bring. Firstly, you should bring one of your best melee weapons. You could change this for, the Quiet Dagger, but you gotta do a bounty for this and that's a bit of a hassle. So in my opinion, just bring any weapon that you like using. Now next you need an assault rifle. Now for me, I'm going to be using this Vulcan combat rifle. Reason why is because it's silenced, it's got a cool scope, and it's just one of my favorite rifles to use. It's from the Vulcan combat bundle, or I think it's just called the Vulcan bundle. But yeah, you can bring any assault rifle you want. Now next up we got an SMG. Now you could trade this in for a pistol or maybe another shotgun or something like that. But me personally, I like to change it up a bit and use an SMG. But now lastly, we have the engraved shotgun. This is a must. This will save you so much time and make getting through the prison so much easier. It's got to be the engraved one because, it's one of the best. And the way you can get this is by, increasing your survivor rank and then buying it from like, a store or something. But now next, let's move on to the tools. The first thing you should have is the grappling hook. This is a necessity. It'll save you a lot of time and help you get through the prison much easily. There are a lot of instances where you got to use this. And if you don't know how to get this, you just got to upgrade your survivor rank until you're able to get it and it'll be available in your stash. But now next we got the Night Hunter booster. This is very useful and the way you get this is by playing against a Night Hunter. All you got to do is turn on a Night Invasion and play against a Night Hunter, which is another player. And you don't even have to win, you just got to play and complete the game. When you complete the game against a Night Hunter, you'll be given the blueprint and also a Hunter gland, which is, one ingredient to make this Night Hunter booster. But you can just make one and then duplicate it. I'll leave a duplication glitch in the description or maybe in the pinned comment down below. Yeah, what this booster does is that it increases your speed, gives you damage resistance, increases the amount of damage you deal, and I believe it also recovers your health a bit faster if you're on Nightmare or Hard. So yeah, this booster is a must and it is very useful and will save you a lot of time. But now next we got Zaid's flares. Now the difference between these and regular flares is that I believe these actually, last longer and burn brighter. And the way you get this is by completing a side quest where you got to help a guy named Zaid find some parts to make these flares. It's very early on in the game, so it shouldn't take you too long to get these. But now next we got the Cloak Potion. What this does is that when you drink it, it hides you from most of the zombies. It doesn't hide you from the alpha volatiles. It's very useful and will help you out a lot in this prison heist and pretty much in the whole game. The way you get this is by helping a so-called witch at the Bazaar safe zone. And just a tip for you guys, doing her side mission, some of you guys might get stuck on this. When you help her, she'll give you a potion as well as a blueprint, which is not it. Like the blueprint and the potion don't work precisely, so you got to drink it, test it, and then go back to her to let her know, this doesn't work, and then keep helping her again and again and testing potions until you get the one that you need. So yeah, a tip for you guys, who have been struggling with this for a while. But anyways, that's it for the loadout. Let's get into how to get through the prison. Now the best way to start, in my opinion, is to use the Night Hunter booster and then push the gate open and start running up. You can use the grappling hook to skip the stairs and then get to this area where you've got like armed guards that'll try to shoot you. You can actually skip this, skip these guys and go through them and keep following the route that I am taking on screen. Now when you continue on this route, you'll walk into a room filled with armed guards that you got to actually shoot. Like you got to kill these guys in order to progress through the mission. Now here, this is where you use your assault rifle. The reason why you want to use your assault rifle is because when you shoot them and go over their bodies, you'll actually loot the ammo from them. So you can shoot all of them and then leave the room with still max ammo. Like you will not waste any ammo if you do this right, which is very useful later on in this mission. But yeah, just shoot all these guys, defeat him, and then go up here to this door that'll be unlocked. You'll see like a green light when it says that it's unlocked. Now next you want to follow this route that I am taking now. And eventually you'll get into a room where you will find a goon behind like this gate. He'll knock down the gate, and you don't actually have to kill him. You can just use a cloak potion and go past him. Or if you want, you can shoot him, doesn't really matter. But all you gotta do is pretty much just use a cloak potion and get to the gate and lockpick it. Now a trick for you guys is that if you're repeating this mission, like as long as you don't go out to the main menu, you don't leave the Harran prison, the lockpick place will be the exact same spot as last time. But do keep in mind there's like two gates. There's the one on the left and the one on the right. Like there's two doors. So make sure you stick with one so that if you are repeating this, you can get it done very quickly and not have to look around for, the lock place's, spot, if you know what I mean. But anyways, when you get this lockpick done, you want to continue on the route that I am taking. And eventually you will get to the sort of last room. And this one is very annoying and very dangerous. So make sure you be very careful and do exactly as I say. Now there are two ways you can actually go about this room. You could go, straight down through the center to get to the door, or you can follow the path that I am taking to defeat these two toads. If you go straight down, it's 50-50 whether or not they'll bother you, but I prefer to do this, just so that I don't get bothered. But anyways, what you want to do is throw a flare down in front of the door and use a cloak potion. And then of course you want to try to lockpick the door. Now the flares, they'll protect you from the volatiles and the alpha volatiles, while the cloak potion will protect you from the virals. And the same thing with the goon door. If you have memorized where the lockpick spot was, it'll be in the exact same spot. But of course you got to make sure, you didn't quit to the main menu or leave the Harran prison. So yeah, that's just a tip for you guys to, keep in mind when you're doing this. But yeah, when you get this done, just progress through following the route that I am taking using the grappling hook. And if you don't have it, this will take you a little while to do, but you'll still get this done in the right amount of time. But now here in this area, this is the last area you got to deal with, and it's pretty straightforward. What you got to do is defeat all these like demolishers and virals. For the demolishers, I recommend, using the engraved shotgun. And for the virals, you could also use the shotgun or the SMG or the assault rifle, whatever you've got to use. Now, the only tip I've got for this place is to get on top here and use your gun, since, they'll pretty much be lining up in front of you, allowing you to collateral them. However, if you're playing on Nightmare, you might want to headshot them. But if you're playing on any other difficulty, just lining them up and shooting them, you'll use less bullets when dealing with them. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and that's pretty much what you got to do for the prison heist. Now we're moving on to the rewards. When you play the heist, you need to complete it in under a certain amount of time to unlock this thing called the Guru Rewards. The Guru Rewards requires you to complete the prison heist in under a certain amount of time to get some insane rewards. Now, as you guys see on screen, the amount of time you need is dependent on the difficulty. Now, story mode isn't like shown here because story mode and normal are pretty much the exact same thing. And the amount of time you need is 8 minutes. You need to complete the prison heist in 8 minutes or less. And for hard, you've got 15 minutes, and for nightmare, you got 25. Which makes sense since, it's a lot more difficult to do it, and it'll take you a lot more time. Now, what the Guru Reward is that, it gives you the second room that has all the, really cool rewards, but you still get one room that has, some decent rewards, nothing too crazy. It's got ammo and, all that other stuff, but the second room has got even more stuff and way better rewards than the non-Guru Reward room. Now, when you get into this room, you got a certain amount of time to loot before the place is decontaminated, and, you got to be out of here before that happens. Now, the amount of time you'll have will also be dependent on the difficulty. If you're playing on story mode or normal, you'll only have 60 seconds, which is not a lot of time. However, if you're playing on hard, you'll have 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes, or you can play on nightmare and get 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes. Now, something to keep in mind, however, is that if you are playing with other players, the amount of time you will have will be less. Now, by how much? It'll be 10 seconds per player, meaning that if you have one extra player with you, you'll have 10 seconds less, and if you have 2, it'll be 20. And if you have a full squad, in other words 3 other players, it'll be reduced by 30 seconds. Now if you're playing on hard or nightmare, having a full squad is actually very useful. Because the rewards you get in the room are for all the players. It's not spread, evenly. For example, if you open a chest and find a weapon in a king mod, you can loot it and your teammate can also loot it. So if all 4 of you open these chests, all 4 of you will get the loot from 4 chests at the same time. So yeah, if you're playing with a squad, it is actually worth it. However, if you're playing on normal or, story mode, I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you guys are very fast. So if you're playing with a full squad, I recommend playing on hard or nightmare. And something to keep in mind is that if you do not exit this room and get to safety before the timer runs out, you will die and lose the loot that you have looted. So yeah, it is very important that you don't get too greedy and, get yourself to safety before the timer runs out. But anyways, what kind of loot do you get from this Guru Reward room? Well, you get the normal stuff from the non-Guru Reward room as well. you get ammo and consumables. So you can get ammo for shotguns, assault rifles, pistols, and even silenced ammo, like ammo for a silenced pistol. You also get firecrackers, lockpicks, and that kind of stuff. But there's also, some cool craft parts like electronics, power cables, lighter gas, and some of these zombie guts, which aren't very useful, but they're still here. But now you can also get medical supplies and also boosters as well from this room. You can get med kits, stamina boosters, speed boosters, and you can even get a Night Hunter booster as well, but I believe that's like a 5% chance of getting it, so it's very low. And the way you get these is from these medicine cabinets right here. I believe there's like 5 only. So yeah, the odds aren't really in your favor. But now what do you really get from the Guru Rewards tier only? The Guru Reward gives you this room that has 7 chests that are hard locked, and each of them guarantees you 1 gold rarity weapon, as well as a king mod. So yeah, these are very useful, and the most important part of this prison heist. Now the gold weapons you get could be, the normal premier tier weapons, but they could also be rare fantasy weapons, like the Loco, Tribal Knife, Rune Hammer, and Blade of Order. But the normal gold weapons are the weapons that, can be available to you dependent on your survivor rank. And also depends on your run speed as well, like the quicker you are, the better it'll be. So anyways, that's it for the video. If you guys want to know how you can rank up your survivor rank, your agility, your power, all that good stuff, check out this video right here. Or if you guys want the best Dying Light videos on YouTube, check out this playlist I made. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.